Hello, my name is Regina and I will be teaching you how to tune your ukulele today. Whether you've had your ukulele for a long time and it's been sitting on a shelf in your room or in your basement, or you just got your ukulele, it's a really simple instrument to tune. It looks a little overwhelming at first, but once you get the gist of it, it's really not that bad. I will make a disclaimer. If you have a newer ukulele or a ukulele that you have not used for a long time, the strings tend to not want to stay in tune. So the only way to fix that problem, unfortunately, is by playing your instrument and tuning it at least every day, if not twice a day for a week. This is a newer ukulele and it's taken me about 3 weeks to finally get it to stay in tune. I play it every day. I teach lessons every day. So if you're struggling with keeping your ukulele in tune, it might not necessarily be something that you're doing, but you just need to tune your instrument every single day. If you have a new ukulele, sometimes they come really loose, and the reason that happens is because the manufacturers don't want the strings to damage the neck of the ukulele. If it's too tense while it's being transported, any sort of change in altitude, humidity, it can cause stress on the strings and also break the neck. So what they do is they really loosen the strings. What you might find is it takes you a very, very long time to get your strings where they need to be, especially this G and this A, because they have to be super high and they send them out really, really low. So don't be discouraged if it takes you some time. I've had new ukuleles that I've tuned that have taken me at least 5 minutes to get the G to where it needs to be. So if you're finding that you're struggling, tune it as high as you can get it, move on to another string, and then keep coming back to it. And eventually you will be able to tune the string to where it needs to be. So just don't be discouraged if you're struggling to tune your G or your A, because it's just the string is being stubborn. There is a special tool that you can use to help you tune your ukulele. It's called a tuner. Typically you will see them called guitar tuners because you can use guitar tuners to help you tune a ukulele. These tuners use a microphone that's built into it to pick up the frequencies of the strings and tell you whether it is vibrating at a certain frequency or not. Now, a lot of these tuners, they can pick up the frequency, but they might tell you a different string. For example, I could play this top string, but if it's not tuned correctly, it could easily pick it up as this bottom string or this middle string. So that's why it is important for you to know at least the general gist of the string names before you tune your ukulele. That way you're not tuning this top string for the wrong frequency, the wrong pitch. Now, the ukulele tuners, the guitar tuners, you can get those on Amazon. I'll leave a link below. I think they cost about $8, which is a good tool to have if you plan on maintaining this habit, this hobby, or if you even want to do a performance, if you want to be a performer with your ukulele. I personally like to use an app on my phone. That way I know that I always have a tuner with me. And this app is called GuitarTuna. It's spelled tuna like the fish. This app is free. It's completely free to download. I will also leave a link below. And it uses the microphone in your phone, your tablet. I haven't checked on a computer, but maybe the computer. And it uses that microphone to pick up the frequencies. Now again, it's the same thing with the tuner. It's going to tell you which string it thinks you're playing based on the frequency that it's picking up. So it could again pick up the wrong frequency and you might tune it wrong. So again, it is important that you know at least general gist of the names of your ukulele. Or the nice thing about the GuitarTuna app is that it does show you which tuning peg it thinks you're trying to play or to tune. So at least pay attention to that, but we'll get to more of that later. Another tool is if your ukulele is like mine, it could have a built-in tuner, so you don't even have to worry about getting one. They're pretty easy to use. We'll go over how to use our tuners in just a second. But now the absolute last resort, if you have a digital keyboard, you can always tune your ukulele to the keyboard. The note names are G, C, E, A. So if you know the notes on the piano, you can always tune your ukulele to that. An important note about tuning your ukulele is to always pay attention to which string you are tuning. So what I mean by that is you have to make sure that you know which tuning peg corresponds to which string. The easiest way to know that is you start here from the middle and you follow the string all the way down to find its correct tuning peg. It's a pretty foolproof method as long as your finger doesn't slip or jump strings. So when you're doing this, make sure you stay on the same string the entire way. And that way you will always know that you are turning the correct peg. So if you are trying to tune your instrument and you're turning a peg and you don't hear difference in the string that you're turning, make sure you check that the tuning peg you are turning matches the string you are playing. Another thing to take note of is the top two strings tune one way and the bottom tune another way. So the top two strings, these top two tuning pegs, if you want to make them sound higher, then you have to turn them to the left. So you turn them away from your face. I'll give you an example. So I just gave it a small turn away from my face and that made the string sound higher. Now if I want to make the string sound lower and release that tension, then I turn it to the right. So I turn it towards my face. And I'll give you an example. So you can hear the difference when you turn the tuning peg. And that's why it's also important to let the string play while you're turning the pegs, so that you can hear it and you're not overshooting or undershooting the pitch that you're trying to get to. Now the bottom two strings are flipped. So if you want to make them sound higher, you turn them to the right, so towards your face. And if you want to make the bottom two strings sound lower, you turn them away from your face to the left. So to recap, the top two strings are higher to the left, lower to the right. The bottom two strings are backwards. Higher to the right, lower to the left. When we are tuning our instruments, I like to tell my students to hold their instruments in a certain way. So you're going to use your right forearm to push your instrument close to your body. You can put it a little bit below to offer more support. Now I like to put my right hand just underneath the body of the instrument, and I use my thumb to play each string. That frees up my left hand so that I can have it up here on the tuning pegs and turn them as I play the strings. Again, it's very important that you use your ears and you play the string while you are turning it. It's not only going to help you listen and see that you're making a difference, it's also going to allow the microphone in the tuner to pick up the pitch so that it can tell you whether you're getting closer or farther away. So again, you hold it with your right hand on the bottom part of the body, and your left hand is the one that turns the tuning pegs. I have a lot of students that like to hold it like this, and while that can be helpful for visual people, it makes it harder to understand my instructions when I say turn it to the left or to the right. So for the purposes of this video, I want you to try to hold your instrument the way I show you, and that way it's easier for you to follow along. As I mentioned before, it's good to know the string names because your tuner doesn't actually know which string you're playing. It tells you which string it thinks you are playing based on the frequencies that it picks up from the string. And the frequency is really just the sound that your instrument is making. So it's measuring whether it's a high frequency or a low frequency. So right now, my top string is not tuned to where it should be. I'm guessing my tuner is going to pick it up somewhere at an E. Yep, F sharp. It's just below where it needs to be. That means that I need to tune it up higher. And that's why it helps to know the string names. So the top string is the G string. The next one underneath the top, so the second one from the top, is the C string. The next string below it is the E string. And finally, that bottom string, that is the A string. The A string, even though it's at the bottom of your instrument, is the highest sounding pitch on your instrument. The C string is going to be your lowest sounding pitch on the instrument. With all of that said, we are going to start tuning the top string, the G string. An important note for you to notice is that these strings are fragile, okay? You are taking these strings made out of nylon and you are stretching them. You are adding a lot of tension. So it's important to tune them slowly. I know we're excited, we want to play our instruments, and tuning is not necessarily the most exciting aspect of it, but it is important to take your time and take care of your instrument. I have had strings pop on me. It is not fun. It hurts, okay? It's like an elastic rubber band being stretched out and breaking and just smacking you in the hand or in the face, because your face is very close. So when you are turning your tuning pegs, try to do no more than a half turn, a half revolution. All right, I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to loosen my strings. To tune this top string, I'm going to play, I'm listening, it's picking it up as an F. So I play, listen, and do a half turn. So that means that I only move my hand halfway. And now I watch, it picked it up to an F sharp. So that means I'm halfway to where I need to be. So I'm going to do the same thing again. Play, listen, turn. Almost there. And there it is, it's in tune. So you see how I took my time getting there. It's still, I was making progress. I was not being really slow. But I wasn't abusing the string and turning it so fast that I popped it. So now you may want to take your time and pause this video, tune your top string, and then we'll move on to the next string, the C string. So you notice with my top string, the G, I was too low. I was underneath the pitch where I needed to be. So I turned the top peg to the left to make it sound higher. I'm going to tune the second string from the top. If I follow that string all the way to its correct tuning peg, it will be this one. Okay, let's do it again. Follow it all the way to its tuning peg. You should be tuning the tuning peg on the top that's farthest out. All right, now if I play and listen first, I will see if it's higher or lower than where it needs to be. So this is picking it up as a D. D comes after C in the alphabet, and that tells me that D is too high for my C string. So what I need to do is turn it towards my face so that it releases the tension and drops the pitch. So I'm going to play, listen, and turn. And there I am. It was a quick fix. Just a quick half turn and then a little bit of a further turn to get there. But now my C string is in tune. So now you may want to pause your video and tune your C string. Next up, we have the E string. The E string is just a little bit higher than the C, right? If we're following the alphabet, it's C, D, E. So E is higher than C because it comes after it. So I'm going to take my time, I'm going to listen, and I'm going to turn my tuning peg. So again, let's find it. I go to the string that I want to play and tune, and I slide my hand all the way down the neck of the ukulele and follow it to the correct tuning peg. So it should be this farther tuning peg on the bottom side of the ukulele. Are you there? Awesome. Now I'm going to play, listen, turn. So it's too low, so I'm going to turn it to the right. Right? It's opposite. I turn it to the right to make my bottom string sound higher. And there I am. All right, so you may want to take some time, pause the video, and tune your E string. All right, guys, we're almost done with tuning our instruments. Our very last string is the A string. This is the bottom string on the ukulele, the one that's farthest from my face, but it's the highest sounding string on my instrument. I'm going to follow it all the way down to its tuning peg. I find that it's this inside one on the bottom side. And now I'm going to play, listen, and turn. So play, listen, and it's too high. It's too high. So now to tune it down, I have to turn it to the left. I have to turn it away from my face. And there it is. There it is. So I hope that you found this video helpful, and I hope that you like it and that you hopefully come back and check out more of my videos. I do teach classes privately throughout school, so if you're a student between the ages of 9 and 18, you can reach out to me. I'll leave my link below and we can set something up. I have tons of ukulele classes available for you. And if you're not a student and you're taking to YouTube to learn on your own, that's awesome too. Congratulations. I'll see you next time.